It was proof of their entitlement. In the slow unraveling, I transferred the exact amount from the trust to cover only my share and Grandma's intended portions, but withheld the rest until debts were cleared. Jake's face went pale as the reality sank in. There was a beat of tenderness when Lily quietly said, "I didn't know it was this bad. I'm sorry." The final confrontation came when Dad stood up. "This is ridiculous." But the notary we called in confirmed the signatures. Jake muttered excuses, but the lawyer's voice sealed it. "The documentation is ironclad." My hands stopped shaking as silence fell. The first to break it was Mom, whispering, "We never meant to." Jake's reckoning came with a gruff, "I was wrong about you?" The lawyer nodded. "Everything checks out as per the inheritance law provisions." In the quiet moment after, Lily and I stepped outside. The Lobster receipt was now folded in my pocket, symbolic of the boundaries I'd finally drawn. Weeks later, life had changed. I moved to a smaller place by the lake, focusing on my own peace. Lily visits sometimes, and we talk about real family, the kind built on respect, not obligation. She reframed it one afternoon. "You taught us that blood doesn't mean endless taking. It means holding each other accountable." What would you have done in my place? If this story hit home, hit subscribe. There's a new one waiting for you tomorrow. And to this day, that empty chair at family dinners reminds me of the cost of quiet strength. My choice was clear in that moment. Stay silent and absorb another hit, or reveal the truth I'd been holding back. The ledger from Grandma wasn't just paper. It was my quiet strength. Nobody bought it initially. Skeptical Lily crossed her arms. "This sounds like you're making it up." Jake added, "Mr. Perfect with spreadsheets." Dad shook his head. "Not the time." But I stayed calm, pulling printed statements. Under the Irrevocable Trust by Grandmother Eleanor, Section 4.2 Fiduciary Duties. As successor trustee, I demand restitution. Bank records show $28,400 in transfers for your debts, medical bills, and vacations. The promissory notes are notarized. Jake's face twisted, but the lawyer on speaker confirmed the clauses per probate code. The receipt became the symbol of my stand. Details poured with procedural weight, accounting, liens. Lily apologized. Notary verified. Mom whispered. Jake admitted. Peace with firm boundaries held tight over the following months. I could still smell the garlic butter dripping from the lobster tails when my brother leaned across the white tablecloth and said, "You're paying for all this. It's the least you can do after everything we've been through." The words hung there, absurd and sharp, while the waiter hovered with the black leather folder containing the $4,000 bill. Before you keep watching, comment below and tell me which country you're watching from. And subscribe, because tomorrow's story might hit even harder. My name is Alex, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the reliable one in our family. The quiet middle child who showed up with the checkbook whenever Mom needed help with the mortgage, or when Dad's truck broke down again, or when my sister needed last-minute plane tickets for her spiritual retreats. We were at this fancy seafood place downtown for what was supposed to be a celebration of Mom and Dad's 30th anniversary. The chandelier light flickered off the crystal glasses, and everyone was laughing like nothing could touch us. But I wasn't laughing. I remembered Grandma's words from 2 years ago, whispered in her hospital room while the monitors beeped softly. I kept every receipt, just in case. She had pressed an old leather-bound ledger into my hands that day, her fingers trembling, but her eyes clear. That ledger was my anchor now, tucked away in my desk drawer at home. The family was all there, Mom with her perfect makeup hiding the worry lines, Dad cracking jokes too loud, my older brother Jake, who always treated me like the family ATM, and my younger sister Lily, who rolled her eyes at anything practical. Jake especially had this way of talking down to me. "Come on, kiddo," he'd say, clapping me on the shoulder like I was still 12. "You know how it is. Pitch in." That night started small. Lily hesitated when the menus came out, whispering to Jake about the market-price lobster. Then the orders piled up. 3-pound lobsters for everyone, bottles of expensive wine, sides that cost more than my weekly groceries. I watched the total climb on the waiter's tablet, my stomach tightening. Stage 2 hit when Dad waved off the appetizers bill. "Alex will handle it. He's good with numbers." The crack widened when Jake pulled me aside by the coat check and said, "Look, things are tight for us right now. You always step up. Don't make it weird." Then came the full betrayal. As the dessert plates were cleared, Mom looked at me with that expectant smile. "Sweetheart, the bill is $4,000. We figured since you're the one with the steady job and no kids, you could cover it. It's family." Jake nodded. Lily avoided my eyes. The air felt thick, like the restaurant's humid seafood steam had followed us. "Would you have stayed quiet to keep the peace, even if it meant losing everything? Stay with me here. Because what happens next is the part nobody in my family saw coming." I didn't argue right away. My hands started shaking under the table as I pulled out my phone. They thought I was calling the bank or something. Instead, I opened the photos of Grandma's ledger. Nobody believed me at first. Jake laughed. "What, you're gonna pull some old lady story now?" Lily scoffed, and even Dad looked skeptical, the family authority. "Alex, this isn't the time for games." But I had the documents. Years ago, when Grandma passed, she left a trust. I was named the trustee because she knew I'd manage it fairly. The family thought the money was split evenly, but there were conditions. Reimbursements for all the loans I'd given over the years. I had bank statements, transfer records, every IOU signed in that ledger. The prophetic line echoed in my head. I kept every receipt, just in case. I laid it out calmly. Actually, according to the trust agreement dated March 15th, 2023, all outstanding family advances must be settled before discretionary distributions. I've documented over $27,000 in transfers from my personal accounts to cover your expenses, backed by the fiduciary records. My voice was steady, but my breath caught when Jake slammed his fist on the table. A crisis hit when Mom started crying, saying I was tearing the family apart. Jake tried to fight back, claiming the trust was invalid, demanding to see the lawyer right there. The waiter shifted uncomfortably, an irrelevant detail. The guy had a small tattoo of a crab on his wrist that caught my eye amid the chaos. Piece by piece, I showed the emails, the signed acknowledgments. The lawyer I had on speed dial confirmed over speakerphone. The trust stipulates full accounting and repayment clauses. Mr. Alex is within rights to enforce. The anchoring receipt, the one from tonight, now sat on the table, but it wasn't just a bill anymore.